Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nature's Way. On this episode of Nature's Way, I want to do a follow up to my last video, um, which talked about how I found the Billy Meier material. I want to take you all a step back and kind of give you the story behind what led me up to this point in my life, and maybe some of the struggles that I had after I found the Billy Meier material, as well as some of the mistakes that I made in thinking that I could just tell everybody and expect them to believe what I was saying. So I want to take you back. Where did this story start for me? What got me interested in the first place in my search? And I think going back to when I was young would be a good place to start. So I grew up in the north of Ireland. My family were not really religious per se. They were neutral, and in the community that I lived in, or in the part of Ireland that I lived in, it was you were either Protestant or Catholic, and I grew up in a Catholic community. Although my parents, as I said, were neutral, we were taught not to go in any one direction. We were given our free will to decide and observe for ourselves and make our own decisions. So I think that was kind of that was pivotal. But I obviously, in the community that I grew up in, many of the families, friends, and families that I grew up around were quite religious, and I think that had definitely had an effect on me. I would say deep down inside, I was inclined toward spirituality. I'm a kind of a spiritual person, so I always asked questions and wanted to know more about the world, you know. So I think in my mid-teens, I got interested in meditation and looked at transcendental meditation and those things, and that kind of was consistent with me trying to figure things out and looking at various religions and so on. And later on, as I grew up, I moved to America and met my wife, and her family were, I would say they're quite religious. So again, you know, being a person who's always been searching and asking questions, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. So I jumped right in, and you know, with all my heart really, and give it my all. You know, trying to understand what religion was, understand who this person God is that everybody believes in. So I did that for about 3 years, and I also at the time, working as an electrician, worked with a gentleman who had spent 6 years in the missionary, and I had lots of questions for him, and he was more than happy, to give me answers, and he was a lovely person, and he wasn't trying to force anything. He was just the type of guy that was happy to answer, you know, the questions that I had. So all these things had an effect on me, and I would say about 3 years into, or 2 or 3 years into going to church and that, and immersing myself in religion, I would say I honestly felt like I was starting to regress. I was really struggling with it. It kind of went against my grain. It wasn't logical for me to believe that there was an almighty God up there looking down and listening to, the questions that I had and answering prayers and so forth. So it was just a real struggle, and I started to kind of move away from it again, and started to research and get back into meditation and all these things. I think were what led me to the material that I found, which was the Billy Meier material. And it was a process of elimination, really. When I look at it now from the very beginning, from I was a young age, I was always the type of person who was asking questions. I would try one thing, and I guess as you do, you figure things out and try to understand whether it's right or not. And that process of elimination eventually, I think, brought me to, start to ask questions about, what is it all about, and led me to the Billy Meier material. Now, after I found the Billy Meier material, which was in 2013, it was like somebody just blew the lid off. Again, I talked about it before. The Billy Meier material is something that I'm not going to go into too much detail on in this video. I would encourage you, if you're a person who's out there trying to figure the world out, and you've got to this point and asking questions, I would encourage you to check out the Billy Meier material, and don't be afraid to ask questions and dissect it in every single detail, because that's very, very important. I would say the one thing that I definitely learned is that giving yourself up, your willingness to believe in something, is a big mistake. And we certainly won't grow and evolve if we're going to just give ourselves up to a belief. Believing is simple. You just simply have to believe. Whereas knowledge is something that you have to dissect. You have to figure out whether it's real or not, and then it becomes your knowledge. So that was that, and I guess the biggest part that I struggled with after I found the material was I was excited, and I'm the type of person that wants to share things with people. I think that's a natural thing. In your excitement, you want to share with the world what you found, and I started to tell my friends and family, and I think I was trying to convince them of the material, and I think that was my first mistake. I think I would have been better served just to keep it to myself and learn about the material, learn about the teaching, which is based on the laws of nature. And that's really the key to the Billy Meier material. It's a teaching which is based on the laws of nature. It's a teaching that you're encouraged to go out and learn from the world around you, learn from nature, because all of our answers are right there in front of us. There's nothing there's no belief in the Billy Meier material. It's all about observing and processing and gaining the knowledge from what you're observing. And much of that is observing ourselves, our psyche, our thoughts, and our feelings. Um, and so I made a mistake by, thinking I could tell people and thinking that they would accept what I was saying. Um, I would say I was marginalized. I was pushed away. So I would say it worked against me, and I think that's the key, is that really we shouldn't be trying to change anybody else. The world will not change if we're trying to change people and coerce and push people. The world will only change if we work on ourselves, and that's where this journey begins, when we realize that we can't complain about everybody else. We have to look inside and begin the change there. And as soon as we begin the change inside, and not expecting it of other people, I think people begin to notice themselves, and we have a positive effect in the world around us. On the other hand, if and when people begin to recognize that you're, changing, and you're making a positive difference in your own life, because you're beginning to work on yourself, and it's all about self-development, and people ask questions, and they want to know what you're doing, and that I would say there's no harm in at that point, giving people just little bits, little pieces of the material, and at that point it's up to them if it's something that they are interested in, and want to know more, then you can point them in a certain direction. But certainly, I would say never push this material on anybody, because it goes against everything. It goes against everything in the consistency with learning. Nothing in this world can grow and learn when it's being pushed or forced. It has to happen naturally, and people have to come to things themselves. And so I think that's it. Everybody, thanks for, as usual, watching, and I look forward to your comments. Your comments are always, they always give me encouragement, and they help me, go one way or the other. And if you have any recommendations on readings, go ahead and put them in the comments, and I'll be happy to read them. Thanks, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.